takes the shot. Later puts it up. Yes! Can you believe it? Oh, huge shot. Dreams to come true. As good as it gets.
Welcome to the McConnell Center here in Gainesville, Florida. Number 3, Ohio State. Number 4, Florida. As far as regular season goes, they just don't get any bigger than this one. Greg Gumbel along with Billy Packer. There's a look at Ohio State head coach Thad Matta in his 3rd year at Ohio State, a record of 56-19. The starting lineup he puts on the floor include Mike Conley, Jamar Butler, and Ron Lewis, along with Ivan Harris, and the man everyone all over the country is talking about, the freshman Greg Oden. For the Florida Gators, Torian Green and Lee Humphrey in the backcourt. Up front, Corey Brewer, Chris Richard, Joakim Noah. The Gators are coached by Billy Donovan. Donovan, 13 seasons coaching college basketball, his 11th here in Gainesville. And today's game brought to you in HDTV by Harris Corporation, the world leader in broadcast systems for high-definition television and mobile media. We're glad to have you with us. Billy Packer, I'm happy to sit alongside of you.
Same here, Greg. Little game within a game today. Let's see how long it'll be before Billy Donovan gives Al Horford a chance to play. He worked out this morning. The ankle seems to be decent.
Al Horford sprained his ankle in practice December the 11th, has not played since. Only practiced this week for the first time since then. Oden trying for the rebound, and that'll be Oden over the top for the foul.
A very good inside feed to Oden that time. Richard not big enough to handle him, but then Oden makes a severe mistake going over the back of a wide body who knows how to block out. First team.
Billy, I mentioned to you as we got here, a lot of Florida students still on campus so close to Christmas.
Well, I would imagine if you live within a couple hundred miles of here, you found a way to get a ticket and get in. This is Sun Battle, probably the biggest college basketball game ever in the state of Florida.
Noah underneath for Brewer.
Tough matchup is Brewer, listed at 6'7", is closer to playing at 6'9".
Harris, sharpshooter. Doesn't connect, and Green comes back for the Gators. And off of Corey Brewer and out of bounds. Welcome to Gainesville. Those of you just joining us, the Florida Gators with a 2-0 lead. And we are 1 minute in to this big game between the numbers 3 and 4 teams in the nation. Mike Conley, the freshman, back outside Jamar Butler. His 3 doesn't go. And so far, the Buckeyes are cold.
Tough shooting a 3 over Noah at that kind of size. 2 turnovers in a row for Florida, but what they're trying to do is turn this into an up-tempo game.
How about that feed from Conley to Ron Lewis?
And a nice response by Ohio State. This Ohio State team, we saw the great game they had against North Carolina, a game that both teams looked to push the ball up the floor, but Ohio State, a different club now with Oden in the game. So they have to go ahead and figure out how to play a game inside out instead of strictly on the perimeter.
Noah. Out of bounds, Ohio State.
That's a nice job by Oden going straight up on the block. He didn't reach in. That could have been a quick second foul on him.
You referenced Oden missing playing time. He missed the first 7 games of this season with that surgery for the torn ligament in his right wrist.
Full pickup in a 2-2-1 zone press. Took about 13 seconds off the clock. No double down on this one.
Oden got fouled on his way up.
That's a pretty smart move, forcing him to move into the middle so that Noah, who did not double down, is going to be there for the shot block. I told you it'd be quick. I think this is an excellent move, Greg. We were kidding before this game, and I said the under and over is 5 in regard to when Horford comes in. I think this is very smart by Billy. Get him in early in the ball game, find out what he can do.
So Says the training staff told Billy Donovan that he can't really hurt it unless he twists it the same way he did when he injured it in practice. Horford, 13.2 points, 8.3 rebounds a game. Oden shooting those free throws left-handed, gets them both, and it's a 4-2 Buckeyes lead.
Isn't that amazing? The young man makes that kind of adjustment. He is actually playing with one hand. I watched him yesterday. He cannot flip the wrist on his right hand, and so consequently he basically is relegated to being a left-hand shooter, with the exception of dunks.
Brewer goes inside and came back down, blocked, and it'll be a jump ball.
Jump ball. Florida basketball, the alternating possession.
Welcome to Gainesville, everyone. Ohio State and Florida. 17-22 still to play in the first half. It is a 4-2 Ohio State lead. And another Florida turnover. Their third. On the baseline, down low, Noah with the foul on Ron Lewis.
Terrific drive by Lewis on the inside. We take a look at these two teams. They are so different in the way that they're made up and what they return. For Florida, they return 93% of their points, 89% of the rebounds. Ohio State just the opposite. From last year, they lost 69% of the scoring, 72% of the rebound. But one of the guys that is consistent of that regular season championship is Lewis, who's off to a terrific start this year.
We talked about the importance of this game, Billy, and the way schedules are made up these days, you really can't tell what you have in your team until you get to conference play.
Well, these two teams, who are certainly capable of being Final Four teams, are going to tell a lot about themselves today, because the athleticism, the quality of skill is certainly here.
Noah doing battle with Oden underneath, Humphrey on the drive.
Humphrey primarily a three-point shooter, but got a terrific rub-off screen.
And travel in violation on the far side. Florida will come back.
Corey Brewer may be the most versatile defensive player in the country, and the fact that he can guard 4 different positions, any one of the perimeter players, and probably can handle a non-power power forward as well. Remember the job he did on a follow in the UCLA game, which basically cut off UCLA's major offensive thrust in the Final Four.
What you could have done with a wingspan like his.
It's amazing. As I said, he's a 6'9" player, and I don't care what they list him height-wise.
Noah being muscled by Ivan Harris.
Well, with Oden out of the game, Harris slides over to guard Noah.
16.5 minutes to play in the first half. Noah comes up short on the shot. Buckeyes with the basketball in a 6-4 lead.
Noah one step away from a three-point shot, has never made one in college basketball. This year he hasn't taken one. They're playing a 2-3 zone for the first time today. I don't know why, because they've been pretty good and effective in man-to-man, and Ohio State, with Oden out of the game, love to shoot from the perimeter.
This is Torian Green. And that one saved? No, coming the other way.
Probably a pretty good idea by Noah not to go after that ball, because had he thrown it in, Ohio State's off and running with a 5-on-4.
Lewis takes a seat on the bench, and one of the highly touted freshmen, David Lighty, 6'5", 220 pounds, comes on.
Cook as well, and we're looking at some guys that can come in and be immediately productive. Cook, without question, even in this game, capable of continuing his runs of 20-point games.
Buckeyes just 1 of 5 shooting from the floor so far.
2-3 zone stays. Harris looking for a shot.
Conley open for 3. Way long, and Horford with the rebound.
Good extension for that rebound, too. Showed that he wasn't afraid to go after it on that ankle.
Brewer.
Beautiful crossover dribble by Brewer. A tough matchup. And again, they stay in the 2-3 zone. This really surprises me. Gives Noah an opportunity to get some rest and stay out of foul trouble with Oden on the bench.
Another three. And that one is also off the mark. Horford with another rebound.
And we're looking at an Ohio State team who came into this game shooting 41% from three, had made 255 shots from out there, but a little better defense than today.
Brewer got the back rim. He gets it back into the lane. Back outside for Humphrey.
That's the shot Humphrey wants. A good kick out. I think it's time for Cook, and here he is. You got to remember this, Greg. It's kind of interesting. This is an extremely young team. You know, they're playing in a hostile environment. When you look at it, they went to North Carolina, which is a tough place to play, and did extremely well. But today, they're not hitting that outside shot.
Humphrey for three. That one is off the mark. Rebound, Richard. Lost it on the way up, and it's out of bounds to Ohio State. 14:05 to play in the first half. Both teams still a little cold. We're tied at 6. Season Florida twice. Here are the undefeated teams that remain. Who surprises you on the list?
Well, we've got two right there that jump out at you, Oregon and Clemson. We'll have to see what Clemson does as they get into ACC play. But when you see Oregon on that list, without question, Greg, the Pac-10 this year is taking the lead, in my estimation, as to the power conference in the country. If anybody saw that Washington game the other night against LSU, and Washington, you know, they got 3 or 4 teams right there in that pack. But everybody talks about UCLA, Arizona, but that league is very deep, and I think is going to probably be the top league in the country this season.
They're even talking about it on the East Coast. Both these coaches mentioned it.
Press is changing a lot of things here.
Richard able to recover the ball.
Man-to-man, Butler on Green. That's a nice matchup. Humphrey and Cook, where these teams match up physically really well.
Humphrey.
Second inside play by Humphrey in the game. Extremely unusual for him to be taking shots inside the paint. But a senior player who knows how to play, a lot of experience out there.
2-point lead for the Gators as we come up on 13 minutes to play in the first half. Ohio State has not scored in the last 4 minutes.
With Conley out of there, they're really not getting a lot of direction against this Florida club.
From the side, a fellow Hunter's shot is no good. The save doesn't work. And back comes Florida.
Green had given up a lot of height on Cook there. A nice block-out job by the guard.
Here comes Dan Werner, the 6'7" freshman from Middletown, New Jersey.
Oden has been on that bench now for what seems to be about 7 or 8 minutes. Picked up that quick early foul and then altered 2 shots. Hadn't been a factor offensively.
Noah, so active, but turns it over. Daquan Cook.
He has 5 20-point games and has not been the starter. He's coming off the bench. Bad idea by Green.
Cook again. And just like that, Ohio State has a 2-point lead.
Cook may be the most explosive 6th man at this level of basketball in the college game, and just a freshman. Led his team to the state crown in Ohio.
Their first in 19 years. Noah inside for Richard and swatted away by Hunter.
Hunter, a terrific shot blocker. With he and Oden on the floor together, you have a hard time getting off anything inside.
Harris out of the corner.
Not a good shot.
And Cook on the rebound, in and out.
Hodge has just been absent. There's a push. Harris on Noah. Noah ought to take him inside a little bit lower. He's been outside on the perimeter feeding most of them.
11:28 to play, first half. Ohio State with a 2-point lead. We'll be back. Back in Gainesville, Billy, you were talking about that Pac-10.
Yes, it was. Look at that. 80.7% of wins in non-conference. Missouri Valley picking up right where they left off last year. Many times this early in the year, because of scheduling, people can build up some gaudy records. But looking at the Pac-10 teams, and I've seen a number of them play on TV or in person this year, I just love their league. Odin back into the ball game, sat down there for about 6 minutes, I guess.
Thad Matta says with Odin sitting out those first 7 games, his team really learned to play without him at the start of the season.
And made it tough, as Billy Donovan pointed out yesterday, that when he's in the game, you've got to play him one style. When he's not in the game, another style. They go strictly perimeter. So Horford back in the ball game now, so he's going to get more playing time than was anticipated.
Werner hits the first 3 of the game for either side, and Florida up 11-10.
Warner in the game shooting over Hunter, the good shot blocker. Nice follow through. Freshman from New Jersey Player of the Year. And there's that 2-3 zone again.
Ohio State 0 for 6 from behind the three-point line so far as we approach the halfway point of the first half. Conley on the drive. And it's Ohio State by 1.
Good execution by Conley, even against the zone, realizing penetration is available. So many times you see the 2-3 zone, particularly played by a team this big. You figure you just got to shoot from the perimeter. Penetration is available. Oh, Thad Matta with a nice 5-second call. Did you see that? We've got 2 of the best and brightest young coaches in the college game on the floor today. Not only have they put together great programs, but these guys have been winners at every level, both as assistant coaches and head. Billy, of course, with Pitino at Kentucky. Thad doing a great job when he was at Butler. Then moving on, and in every case, they have improved their programs and made them among the elites in the country now.
Torian Green back on the floor for Florida. This is Cook.
You gotta like that man, huh?
Cook hits the first 3 of the day for Ohio State.
He's got a swagger about him that you really love. Ohio Player of the Year, another one of the McDonald's All-Americans on the floor here today. But there's a nice swagger about that young man. Not overconfidence, just, I'm good, and I'm going to show you what I can do.
Horford backs in. Little jump hook.
That's got to count. That ball was on the way down, no call. Beautiful timing, though, by Odin.
And taken away by Green. Florida comes down 4-on-2, Green 3, no, and tapped up and home by Werner.
Nice hustle by Werner. And not a bad idea for Green to pull up and take that jump shot. They had rebounding coming along behind him.
2-point lead for the Buckeyes, 15-13.
Tough shot.
To the baseline, Ron Lewis. That doesn't go. And Horford with yet another rebound. I'd say Billy Donovan already is pleased with what he's gotten out of Horford today.
Well, and you got to imagine he's probably only going to be able to play because he's had to sit down and not be able to run. He probably only be able to play in 3-minute stretches, but I think they're going to get use out of him the entire game. There he is. Horford. Whoa. Weak side block.
Humphrey for 3. And Werner.
Good job.
Finally, the ball comes off to the Buckeyes. Thad Matta says, push it. And they do. Conley had it batted back. Green going to take it through and slow things down.
He saw Hunter inside. So Ohio State has their 2 shot blockers on the floor right now. Noah not on the floor.
Green. Shook the cover and hit the 2, and they're tied at 15.
If you're Cook, you don't want to challenge Green out there and then leave yourself in a situation to give him a wide open look. Move your feet and play solid.
8 minutes to play first half.
Odin not coming to the ball in any way against this 2-3 zone. Conley looking for him.
Conley along the baseline, put it up. And the blocking foul is called, and he'll go to the line.
Conley, a terrific guard. Played with Odin in high school, understands penetration will work against the zone.
7:39 to play in the first half.
Big stat right here for both of these teams. They both are terrific perimeter shooting clubs. 1 for 7 and 1 for 6. They both shoot at 42% on the year. That phase of the game has not been here today, and I think the reason for it is you've got some pretty good big long arms stopping jump shooting.
7:39 to play. First half, Ohio State with a 2-point lead. Ohio State enjoyed the game's biggest lead at 4 when it was 6-2. And Joakim Noah back on the floor.
Greg Connolly on the line here, and one of the reasons I think Ohio State can adjust maybe better than most teams, when you assemble a group of freshmen of this caliber and they don't know each other, it can be difficult for a guard inside guy to get along. But Connolly and Oden have played together for 3 years in high school, so the adjustment's pretty easy for them.
Othello Hunter came up short on the rebound, and Horford with yet another rebound for Florida.
And use that wide body to keep Oden off the backboard. Nice step out.
Torian Green rattled it around, and it fell for 3.
The step out by Oden that time left Green wide open. An excellent offensive set by Florida.
So now it's the Gators by 1, and a good look underneath by Oden, and Hunter just missed it.
Terrific recovery by Noah that time when he went over to double down and got back. Another turnover.
Hunter had a good idea and then changed his mind.
Here we see some excellent defense, but I think it's some careless passing and put-downs by Florida. Ohio State's extremely quick, but Green, who has the ball in his hands right now, is going to be a lot more careful in setting up this offense.
Florida owning the board so far, out-rebounded Ohio State 17-9. Noah going right at him.
Left hand, and Oden again a factor.
Cook far side. Lewis wide open 3.
Well, Ohio State spends a lot of time shooting. That's one of the best open looks they've had in this ball game. You can't expect them to keep missing like that if they have those kind of openings. Thad Matta lets his team do a lot of shooting. We were here yesterday. They shot for about an hour and 15 minutes.
What a good move to the bucket by Torian Green, and we're tied at 20.
Oh, stepped in bounds, did Hunter. 1 foot goes over the line.
Second straight turnover by Othello Hunter, the junior from Winston-Salem.
Went to the same high school as Rashawn Terry that plays at North Carolina, but he was not a big high school star. So his game is really ahead of him as he moves forward out of JC.
David Lighty back onto the floor for the Buckeyes. Humphrey for 3.
It was a zone out of bounds situation. Ohio State did not adjust to the man that loves to get that perimeter shot off. Made 22 threes in last year's NCAA tournament. A new Florida record.
Cook.
Great move.
Did everything but go in, and down with the ball comes Noah.
Noah has so much energy, doesn't he? He's so much fun to watch.
Oh, look at the feed for Richard.
Noah is the kind of guy that if you just watch him, he brings excitement not only to the game, but to the spectators as well. Now he's leading the cheers. It's not for show.
Today.
Well, we've seen North Carolina, Ohio State, and Thad Matta mention it. And not many teams in the country are going to go on the road to play North Carolina and Florida before they get to their conference schedule. Wichita State hanging right in there, looking extremely good. Alabama, another SEC team, working their way into that top 10.
Florida has scored 7 points and is on a 7-0 run over the last minute. Oden to the right hand.
That's a tough shot. When he gets beyond about 12 feet, not being able to bend that right wrist makes it very difficult. He wants to get closer to the basket. He's going to have to use that right hand.
Brewer.
On the arm. Maybe 3. I don't know if his foot was over the line. Cook got him.
While we have a moment, take CBS Sports Line with you wherever you go on your internet-enabled phone. Access breaking news and in-depth stats, get expert video, live scoreboards, and even manage your fantasy team. Click on mobile at cbssportsline.com.
All Final Four player Brewer, first team preseason SEC this year, co-defensive player of the year last year in the SEC. Just a fine player. Had mono earlier this year. Took him out of the lineup for about 10 days.
Al Horford comes onto the floor, and Joakim Noah takes a seat on the bench.
I think a really nice move by Billy Donovan, getting Horford into the game early, then resting him, knowing he can't go many sustained minutes in a game like this, but then getting him right back so that leg doesn't tighten up.
I know you gave him a lot of grief yesterday, Billy, saying that the whole thing about him not playing was a smokescreen, but he seemed sincere.
Oh, I think he was very sincere about it. You never know how an ankle like that's going to react.
Conley with his own rebound and brings it back outside.
Smart playing by Conley, realizing that penetration's been better than jump shooting. Another penetrating move.
Lighty's move to the bucket, he missed, but he was fouled.
And if you're Billy Donovan, you're playing your zone, which is supposed to stop that type of penetration, but Conley particularly realized that you can get through the zone. It's almost a mirage out there, and so now Lighty does the same thing.
Chris Richard pulls his second foul of the game, and Noah will check back in right now. And Lighty missed the free throw.
And we talked about Brewer being a guy that can guard 4 positions. Thad Matta said the reason that he really liked Lighty is that he felt on the Big Ten level, this young man is capable of guarding 4 different positions in the Big Ten, everything but a center.
Missed them both. And Brewer chases it down. Thad Matta has a team that's going to be deep all season long with the availability of people like Lighty and Daquan Cook and Ivan Harris.
Now here's a young man, Butler, who's got to get his game rolling a little bit.
Oh, nice feed from Humphrey to Noah.
Breakdown by Butler on the defense. There's those long arms. You want to see him again? Long arms for the steal, long arms for the dunk. A great player.
Thad Matta is less than pleased. The Florida Gators lead it by 10 with 4:08 to play in the half. Here at CBS Sports, as we take a look at the numbers, and the Florida Gators have begun to heat up after a cold start.
Now Brewer showing you a great arsenal of shots, defensive play. Humphrey, we know, is probably as good a pure shooter as there is in college basketball. Loves to set up beyond that three-point line. And they have really been getting open looks. So Ohio State has broken down. Anytime they try to step out and double on the outside, Florida's made them pay for it. Oden wants that ball inside. Horford on him.
Noah came over to help. Travel call.
Now Oden's going to have to realize this year in college basketball, he will not face a twosome any better than that defensively. He's got to get rid of that ball.
Billy, let's check out your expert singular in-game analysis.
Well, here's one that surprised me. A 42% team not doing well. Impact by Oden, very limited because of the 2 men that he's guarding. Horford has really surprised me how long he's been able to play. The Gator guard's starting to come around, although they turned over the ball some. Shows you why, in regard to that analysis, Florida's ahead by 10. They are certainly outdoing the things that they have the advantage of.
Florida on a 12-0 run over the last 2 minutes, 25 seconds has boosted them to a 10-point lead with 3:45 to play here in the first half.
And Ohio State has gone small. Look right now for Noah.
Humphrey.
Noah right now is on the floor with Horford and Brewer. They've got a much bigger team than Ohio State has on the floor, despite the fact that Oden's out there. This is a tough matchup on the defensive end for Ohio State.
Lee Humphrey has 10.
Pick and roll.
Leads by 13. And that foul is on Horford. A reminder coming up on Singular at the half. Sam Ryan, Seth Davis get you up to date on all the action going on today. That's all coming up back in New York on Singular at the half.
Ohio State had an excellent pick and roll for Oden that time, and he slid down there, but they did not pick it up. He would have had an easy layup. You can see Horford's strong body is keeping Oden out of the positions that he wants.
Horford with yet another rebound.
And how about the double bounce by Horford that time, Greg? He went up for the block, came down quickly, back up again. That's something that Billy Donovan wanted to see when we talked to him yesterday in practice. Can he do that?
He had some concerns as to whether Horford might be overcompensating for the weak ankle.
Yep. Werner hit the first three of the day for Florida, doesn't get that one. Man-to-man, Conley with that left hand.
Conley takes his man one-on-one and scores.
And Humphrey, one of the best on-the-ball defenders in the SEC, but Conley went right by him. You got to play him strong for that left-hand move.
2.5 to play in the first half.
High 1-4 set now for Florida.
Brewer, fade away. Comes up short. Jamar Butler up ahead for Lewis. Butler open and hits.
Well, there's a young man that has got to get it going. Butler, of course, started off scoring pretty well, but he has been really having a rough time of late.
33-25, Gators. If you look at the top teams in the nation, Billy, it bears out what your feelings are about the Pac-10 this season, at least so far.
We talked about their 82% winning percentage against non-conference opponents. 4 teams in the top 25. The power conferences, of course, controlling things pretty well there. Missouri Valley with only 1, but some solid clubs that I see in that league right again. Noah sits down again. I mentioned about Butler. His high in the last 7 games has only been 6 points. Here's a young guy that made 14 of his last 15 shots as a freshman. He shoots and streaks. There's a streak, 2 for 3 for Warner, the freshman.
Top of the key, stretches the Gators lead to 11 at 36-25. We're under 2 minutes to play.
Again, not getting the ball to Oden enough against man-to-man.
Forces it into Oden here. Triple teamed on the baseline, and he still broke through.
Had an answer against 3 men. I think that Ohio State ought to get him the ball more often. With 1 minute and 30-some seconds to go, he can be a factor.
Torian Green.
Beautiful.
For Horford. And trying to push his way off, and that'll be an offensive foul.
Shows you the respect he has for the freshman. And he looks over at his teammate Green and says, excellent pass. He probably, with a little bit more game time and not having been out for so long, would have put that away on the catch instead of waiting.
First foul of the day on Horford.
I go right back into Oden again, make Horford work. Too quick for Warner.
Couldn't get it to fall. Horford with another rebound. That's 6 rebounds for Horford on the day.
You see him coming down the court slowly. I mean, it's tough if you haven't run as a big man for a week and a half and then go out there and play in a game of this impact.
Hodge looks inside for Horford, spinning. Humphrey for 3. And back come the Buckeyes. Lewis to a wide open Jamar Butler. And on the follow, Greg Oden.
And the reason for that, Horford's tired right now. He's walking down the court. See, he just couldn't beat him down the floor. They fought for a rebound. Horford right now, hands on hips, very tired with 17 seconds to go.
36-29, Florida.
Now he's showing some pretty good defense out there.
Green trying to drive on Oden.
That's the second foul, and if you're Thad Matta, you didn't want it to come that way on your big man. I'm surprised Oden reached. You know, Greg, if you're a guy that has the great timing and shot blocking ability, you never want to reach out to a little man. Let him go ahead and commit himself, then just go up and pick it off. But he may be a little tired out there right now. Costly foul. I'm surprised they don't get him out of the game with 5 seconds to go. You don't want him to pick up that third.
Oden came into this game with 16 blocked shots in the 4 games he had played.
You see, Horford gets out of the ball game. Noah out of there. You don't want any cheap fouls on tired big men.
Green makes it 38-29, 5.1 seconds, and the press forces a timeout.
30-second timeout, Ohio State. Buckeyes, 30-second timeout.
5.1 seconds to play. Florida with a 38-29 lead. We'll come back to Gainesville in just a moment. That's pretty distinguished company Florida's trying to join.
Well, this team right here, Cincinnati, they have 2 in a row. You know who they beat? Ohio State with the great Jerry Lucas and John Havlicek and Bob Knight's teams. Ohio State won in 60, and you assume with Jerry Lucas they'd repeat maybe 2 more years, but Cincinnati knocked them off as the #1 team in the country. 2 wins in a row for Cincinnati. Then you assume they're going to win 3 in a row, and they get knocked off by Loyola Chicago.
This is Conley. Kicks it outside from the corner. In and out. Wouldn't fall for David Lighty. That's the end of the first half. With the score, Florida 38, Ohio State 29. To Sam Ryan with Singular at the half. After these messages, this is CBS Sports, home of the men's NCAA basketball championship.
Presents Singular at the half. Sponsored by Singular. Raising the bar.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Singular at the Half. I'm Sam Ryan with the score in Gainesville, Florida. Florida leading Ohio State 38-29. Seth Davis of Sports Illustrated joining me now. And what are the Gators doing right today?
Well, they're playing really good defense, not only bottling up Greg Oden with those great big men, but what they're able to do on the perimeter, and Florida being able to make shots where they were able to open up that lead, and that's going to be a key for them in the second half, Sam. Can Ohio State answer with a defensive effort in kind?
And let's get you right out to the scoreboard and game scene. Earlier on CBS, UCLA hosting Michigan. UCLA's Josh Shipp breaking free off the steal by Luke Richard Umba-Amute. Throws down the dunk. 46-25 UCLA.
Yeah, a lot of easy baskets today for UCLA, Sam. That's Darren Collison with the layup. Michigan had 23 turnovers. UCLA 25 points off. Never close.
Jayhawks hosting the BC Eagles in Kansas is Russell Robinson off the rebound. Passes that to Mario Chalmers for the 3. Jayhawks lead 27-19.
Yeah, moving the ball really well, too. That's right to Robinson, to Chalmers, to Brandon Rush for the slam. 2 of his 15 points. And then on the break, Rush going to throw it up to Julian Wright. He dunks it. Boston College had 22 turnovers today. Another not close game.
In Lubbock, Texas, Bobby Knight chasing history as his Red Raiders host Bobna. They are trailing right now by 1 point early. Now, a win today, and Bobby Knight will tie Dean Smith for the most all-time victories at 879. He has 878.
Just a matter of time for Coach Nate. Coppin State at Alabama. Jamario Davidson made the start today. His brother died on Wednesday of gunshot wounds. His girlfriend was killed in a car crash last month. Just unimaginable circumstances, but he played admirably today. Had 5 blocks here with a couple of baskets. And meanwhile, Alabama had the easy win. Ronald Steele going to get the steal ahead to Alonzo G for the jam. But our thoughts and our prayers certainly with Jamario Davidson and what he's going through right now.
La Tech at LSU, and LSU guard Garrett Temple. Here he comes. Driving in the paint, takes the rim, one-handed jam, early lead.
Yeah, not a lot of defense on that play, Sam, and not a lot here either. This is Terry Parker Jr. for Louisiana Tech, taking it all the way down court for the layup. And this is LSU's Terry Martin. He's a transfer from Texas Tech, playing in his second game, and LSU trying to bounce back from that big loss at Washington.
Well, the Memphis Tigers had 5 players in double figures today as they beat Middle Tennessee easily. Meantime, the Clemson Tigers improved to 12-0 undefeated, along with UCLA, UConn, and Oregon winning over Western Carolina. Mercer and Oregon, they are at the half. The Ducks with the early lead there. Meantime, the Spartans hosting Green Bay, Wisconsin. Michigan State winning at home today. In Knoxville, Tennessee, the Longhorns visiting the Vols, and Tennessee's Chris Lofton sets up from downtown, knocks down the three-pointer, giving the Vols the 1-point lead late.
Yeah, I think he was deep enough on that shot, by the way. That's the freshman for Texas, Kevin Durant, sending the game into overtime. From there, it was all Tennessee and all Lofton. 27 of his 35 points in the second half and overtime. Tennessee off the win over Oklahoma State. They will be in the top 25 next week.
Well, CBS Sportsline's new voice for college basketball, Gary Parrish, is in Gainesville for the game. Check out his analysis on the Buckeyes and the Gators after the game exclusively on CBSSportsline.com. And be sure to tune in tomorrow for the NFL on CBS. It's a doubleheader day of action. In our early game, most of you will see New England take on Jacksonville, while in our late game, many will see Cincinnati and Denver. And it all begins at noon Eastern with the NFL Today. Thanks for watching Singular at the Half. The second half of Ohio State and Florida is coming up.
CBS Sports presents Singular at the Half, sponsored by Singular, raising the bar.
TBS Sports College basketball coverage is sponsored by Hummer, like nothing else. By Bodman, hot, sexy fragrance body sprays for men. And by Powerade, sport is what you make it. At halftime, the Florida Gators leading Ohio State by a score of 38-29. A look at our State Farm first half stat shows the Gators leading in just about every category except for turnovers, but with 36% shooting, Ohio State has not been able to take advantage of those turnovers, and it is not lost on everyone around here that these same two schools, Florida and Ohio State, are going to meet in just a few short weeks for the national championship in football. Which brings me to my partner, Billy Packer.
You know, football is an innovative sport. You talk about lonesome ends, you talk about the long snapper, the holder, and so forth. Here's my suggestion to football coaches. The most important play of the season, the only reason they're in the national championship is Jarvis Moss reached up and blocked the kick. You know about how high up he gets? 9'6". We'll see it right here. 9'6" is where he is. Do you realize where Noah can go? Noah and a guy like Oden can go to 13 feet. My suggestion is you start a position called the eliminator. They come in the game, you can teach them in 30 minutes how to play it. They eliminate all field goals and extra points. Naismith invented the football helmet. If it's not for the helmet, there'd be no football game. This is the innovation from basketball to football.
And you're deadly serious about this.
I'm as serious as I can be. He can touch the top of the backboard. Do you realize that's almost 3 feet above where that field goal was blocked? And can you imagine what it would do to the heads of the kickers?
This edition of Billy Packer Rocks Your Sports World has been brought to you by...
I am serious.
What do you think Thad Matta talked to his Buckeyes about at halftime? Oh, there's the feed for Oden, and he's fouled underneath by Humphrey.
How about getting the ball to Oden? Huh? That'd be a pretty good way to start. Good feed. Now, one of the things that I'm sure he talked to him about is this. When Florida's in the zone, don't be satisfied with jump shots. They've shown they can penetrate through the zone, and that particular time penetrated and hit Oden inside. What Oden has got to do, he's got to recognize he's playing against a very good defensive front line, and he's got to be much more aware of his movements. You notice, Greg, he shoots the ball left-handed, but he stands with his right foot forward. That would be the way you'd stand if you're a right foot player. I asked him about that yesterday, and he says the reason for it is his balance. He has one leg shorter than the other by a considerable amount, and he says he would be off balance if he put his left foot forward. Very interesting.
And you asked him when he goes back to shooting right-handed, once that wrist heals enough, will he change his footing? And he said no.
No, he needs that right foot forward, even as he shoots left-handed. Kid has made some tremendous adjustments despite the handicap.
Richard had it taken away underneath. Here comes Conley. Far side, Jamar Butler.
He's a streak shooter. I talked about Butler in that first half. He's had all kinds of problems of late. And the fact that his high in the last 7 games is only 6 points. He's a guy that's capable of doing much better than that. He did not score against Iowa State, but had 7 assists. He can get hot.
Butler has 6 already today. Corey Brewer got tied up underneath, and here comes Ohio State. Lewis.
And you know who the second man was down the floor? Oden. Anything that was there missed, he would have cleaned it up. Good job by Ohio State coming out of the box.
Billy Donovan gets a quick timeout. 18:53 to play, second half. The Buckeyes are close to within 3. The much talked about freshman Greg Oden, 7 points today, a rebound, and 2 blocked shots.
You know, you have to be impressed with this young guy physically and all he's accomplished before he's gotten to Ohio State. But, you know, Greg, one of the things that I've heard about him is what a quality individual he is. I know Morgan Wooden and John Wooden spend an awful lot of time picking the Wooden Award winner for their accomplishments as not a basketball player, but as a person. He won that award. He also won the Trester Award that's given for the same thing in the state of Indiana for the young man that exemplifies all the things that you'd want of a gentleman and a player and a scholar. So beyond his accomplishments athletically, he's done it off the floor as well. And there's another block and another block.
2 in a row.
And that second one was against Noah.
Down in the corner, Jamar Butler for 3. This one comes up short. And that one's going to be on Jamar Butler. Just to go back to what you were talking about, Greg Oden, Thad Matta came over to us yesterday after practice and said as good as he is as a player, he's a much better kid.
Watch his timing. Perfect block. Then he recovers quickly to go up against the All-American Noah. Picks that one off. Almost caught that ball in midair. Terrific play. Noah, the first Florida player ever to be a preseason first-team All-American. Little pick and roll. Should have gone lob to Noah.
Green Oden for three, no. And Oden with a rebound, and we've seen a more aggressive Greg Oden here in the second half. Lewis, baseline. Tough drive, wouldn't go. Horford with still another rebound.
Beautiful pass.
And Green traveled.
That was a beautiful pass by Humphrey to Green. Florida is last year, they had their starting five with an assist turnover ratio, all pluses, all starting five. The only other team to do that in the league was South Carolina. This year they've got 6 guys, their first 6 guys in that basis with a positive assist turnover ratio. But today they're very careless with the ball. Double down.
Harris.
Wide open. Boy, if they're going to double down on Oden like that, and he wisely gets it out quickly, somebody is going to have to rotate. That was too easy.
9-0 run for the Buckeyes, and we are tied at 38. Brewer, the quick look for Horford, and Horford hits his first bucket.
Well, I think that they can do that with Oden this entire game. Make him come out and double outside, then throw the ball to the wing and then lob inside before he can recover.
Conley. Oh, what a beautiful move. That's a freshman.
That's the second time today he has beaten Humphrey. As we said, Humphrey, one of the best on-the-ball defenders in the league. Oden not going to play Horford that far away from the basket.
Tie game at 2. Brewer gets a screen and puts it up. Noah, back up again.
That basket's going to count. Terrific hustle on his part. There you see Brewer with that little fadeaway jumper of his. Noah with a terrific job. Realizing he's been fouled, puts it up quickly. Greg, I see something that's really available for Florida, and that is to set the solid screen on whoever Oden is guarding. That takes him away from the basket. Then I think he can slide down inside with a lob and get the ball easily inside for the basket before he recovers. He's taking a much-deserved break right now. A terrific effort, 4 minutes on his part.
Oden takes a seat with 3 personal fouls on him, and now
2-3 zone by Florida when Oden goes out of the game just as they did in the first half.
43-40 lead for Florida.
Look for Conley to penetrate. They're giving him the jump shot.
Long jump shot by Lewis. That was the 3-point line and then some. Noah comes away with it. Oh, look at the pass down low to Corey Brewer.
Well, Oden goes out of the game, allows the fast break to come right off a rebound.
Gators 45, Buckeyes 40. Harris had that one partially blocked.
Now Hodge in the ballgame. Hodge has been explosive lately. 21 of his last 33s. Hasn't taken a shot yet today. Let's see if they get him a look.
Horford.
Can't keep Oden out much longer. I know he needs about a 3 or 4 minute rest. But a big difference when Hunter's in there and he's out.
7-0 run for Florida has them up 47-40. Conley, an open look for 3.
Boy, they're giving him the jump shot, and he recognized that young man really understands how to play the game. He realized when penetration was available in the first half against his own. There he says, hey, they're not guarding me. Take the 3.
Conley comes in an 18% shooter from behind the 3-point line. Hits that one, 47-43 Florida.
Noah getting his way inside.
That's just a power move.
Yeah, he pushed Harris to get position. He's just too big for Harris inside.
7 points for Noah. 6-point lead for Florida. That foul was on Noah before Hunter got to make his move. 14:21 to play in the second half. We're coming back to Gainesville in a moment. Team Noah takes a rest on the bench. 7 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists so far today.
He and Horford were extremely tired at that timeout break.
Horford gets that block.
Boy, I'll tell you, he got a respite, didn't he? He could hardly walk across the floor. He was so tired. Noah gets the rest. Odin's still sitting over there. You can tell that Mata has a formula with which he wants to use him as far as time played. And there's that double team I'm talking about where Florida can go inside with it. Exactly what I was talking about before. They double team and don't recover. And so the play is wide open inside.
Didn't look like Humphrey could get it down there. He did. 51-43 Florida.
Not only about his stats today in regard to Horford, how about the minutes, the quality minutes that he's playing out here? Terrific young man.
Billy Donovan didn't dream he would get this much out of his leading scorer and rebounder
without
today.
question, and would have no reason to know because he hadn't scrimmaged.
Green with the steal.
I think a timeout for Ohio State's in order right here. You don't want Florida to get another run, and you want to get Odin back in the game.
Florida by 10.
A big possession for Ohio State right here.
Lewis. And it's out of bounds to the Gators.
And they're able to get Odin back in the ball game without the timeout, but his team needs to stop momentum. There's the play I'm talking about. They double team outside with their big man. When they do that on the solid screen, it's wide open down low.
Since Odin has gone to the bench, Ohio State has been outscored 10-3, and Odin is now back.
Well, in fairness to the young man, you know, when you miss 7 games and you haven't had yourself geared up to play sustained minutes, and there's another easy basket for Florida.
Torian Green has 13 points. Florida has a 12-point lead. On the drive, the basket falls, and that won't count. The foul took place outside. Naquan Cook showing some of the athleticism.
I talked about his swagger early in the ball game. He's got to play more minutes going down the stretch right here. He's got 4 20-point games and is capable of getting them here. No double down.
Odin. And Horford with the good defense,
and look
the
at this.
rebound, and here he comes.
Oh, bad play on his part.
Butler with the breakaway basket for Ohio State.
And Horford knows that. He should have given up the ball immediately. He is clapping his hands. Billy Donovan won't even scold him on that one because this guy is a good leader, just made a mental mistake. See there again, a double team. And Odin does not react and recover. Nobody rotates over. So it's wide open for Horford every time they run that play.
You know, you can tell the self-confidence in Al Horford with every passing minute.
Well, plus the adrenaline has taken away some of the pain, I'm sure. Tomorrow he's going to be a little sore.
Odin.
Block.
And again, Horford comes away with the rebound.
Gives up the ball.
10 rebounds for Horford. Green for 3.
He loves that step-in jumper. Timeout for Ohio State. They got to stop this momentum.
Thad Matta makes the call with 11:39 to play in the half.
Well, he took a gamble there by not calling one earlier.
Horford gets a well-deserved rest. Those numbers, plus the minutes he's put in on the floor, Billy Donovan just didn't know if he had that. After he practiced yesterday, he didn't know how he would wake up this morning.
Absolutely. They checked him out this morning. They had a slight workout, but still, he would have no idea how he would do in a running up and down the floor situation.
I think he's doing just fine. Brewer with the takeaway.
Odin stays right with him and does not commit the foul. How about that play?
Grab the rebound, and here come the Buckeyes. Butler leaving it for Conley. Too hard.
Over the back is Cook.
11:17 to play. It's a 15-point lead for the Florida Gators. CBS Sports College basketball coverage is sponsored by Esurance. Take a fresh look at your auto insurance. Compare and save at Esurance today. By Vonage, a better way to phone for less. And by Chevrolet, America's brand. Chevy, an American revolution. The Florida Gators reached the tournament as a 3 seed last year. Knocked off UCLA in the championship game. And Joakim Noah, 16 points, 9 rebounds, a record 6 block shots in the title game to earn most outstanding player honors. Lee Humphrey, 15 points. Corey Brewer added 11, and all added up to a Florida 73-57 championship.
And they return all 5 starters from that team. It's only the second time in 40 years that's happened. Arizona won in '97, returned all their starters. They got knocked out, as you remember, the next year by Utah. These two teams were in the same regional last year. The great game that Florida beat Georgetown on Brewer's shot. And, of course, Georgetown, the team that eliminated Ohio State.
Annie Werner back in the game for Florida.
Referees are allowing a lot of contact down and low, which is really nice when there's big men in the game.
Cliff Richard.
Good defense that time by Oden. Didn't go for the tough block. But one of the things that Oden's got to be careful of is if the game is closely called inside, he can get himself in foul trouble because he's extremely aggressive.
You know, he'll get more aggressive as the season goes along, but he'll also get smarter.
But I love the way this game's being officiated. They're allowing the big men to touch each other and play.
To the baseline, Conley's shot doesn't go, follows up.
How about that? Smallest man on the floor.
13 for Conley, 60-47, Florida. 10.5 to play.
There again, sees that double team, and they didn't get the ball to Richard quickly enough.
Now Richard inside, spins. Oden got that block, and then Richard follows.
Nice step through by Richard. But here's the difference. Richard has been able to stay fresh because of the terrific job Horford has done in regard to minutes played. So now he comes as a fresh big man off the floor.
Harris out of the near side. That's no good.
And there was a block out by Richard. See, he's such a fresh player on the floor.
Hodge showing a little speed down court. Hodge going to slow things down and start all over again. Brewer, had it hit, goes back up.
Legal play. The ball was touched by Butler. Really good pump fakes and eye fakes by Brewer to get that jump shot off.
Florida 64, Ohio State 47, 9:20 to play.
He can take him.
Oden. And the whistle blows, stops the play.
Well, you'll trade that foul.
Yeah. Joakim Noah on the sideline right now, but has made his presence felt today.
Well, he makes his presence felt everywhere, just with the energy that he brings to a team, his unselfish nature, great leadership qualities, and obviously extremely skilled.
And is also the designated lead cheerleader.
World traveler, and then some.
Jamar Butler. And Oden went hard after that, but the foul's going to go against the Gators.
Well, when you go into a pack, and Oden's in that pack, obviously he's going to be the highest guy up there, so they call it on the smaller man down underneath. Warner's committed his 4th foul, but you can afford that. You know, just as you get minutes from Horford, you can afford fouls from Warner, who came in and made 2 big shots in the first half.
So Horford comes on to replace Warner. And driving the baseline, that's an offensive foul on Daquan Cook.
Green reading the scouting report extremely well, knowing how Cook can slash. He just held his ground through the charge and didn't try to go for any block.
That's 3 on Cook. And a little full court pressure now from Ohio State. Brewer for the short one and the foul.
As tired as Oden is right now, I don't know if Ohio State's going to be able to press with him on the floor. He has to cover too much ground in the back end.
We remind you near the end of today's game, we'll select the Chevrolet player of the game from each team to honor their determination and outstanding play. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's General Scholarship Fund. America's brand supports America's best. Chevy, an American Revolution. Daquan Cook committed his 4th personal foul.
Brewer obviously rounding back into shape after suffering that 2-week bout with mono. Having a solid game here today.
He's looking just fine, isn't he?
Sure is.
20-point lead for the Gators. Harris for 3. That's a long-range shot and nothing but Gators. Here comes Horford. Horford. Got it back. Torian Green for 3.
How about that athleticism by Horford? He is having some ball game. He's going to be exhausted tomorrow, but the adrenaline is flowing, keeping him at a very high level in this game.
Billy, you and I had a conversation about coming into a game like this. You don't know what to expect, but I'm not sure we expected a blowout to these proportions at this stage.
Well, no, I certainly did not have to admit that, Greg, particularly the way that Ohio State played at North Carolina. But one of the things that will make a change, North Carolina is an inexperienced team with Roy Williams playing a lot of young guys and not sure of his lineup. What we're seeing out here today is the experience of Florida is overcoming a lot of what Ohio State's trying to do. And they're trying to get back into this game too quickly.
Cook had no chance on that shot, and Brewer comes back and leaves it for Green.
There's an example, an experienced team knowing nothing's there, pull it back out, make the defense work.
Gators on a 30-7 run. Down low, Horford went right into Oden.
This is the other thing. What Florida is doing, they're taking the ball right at Oden instead of trying to get away from him. Makes it tough on the shot blocker.
That's 4 on Greg Oden. We look at the game summary, Billy. What stands out to you most?
Well, of course, Florida's defense has really cut down on the shooting percentage. But look at this rebounding advantage. Florida had a big rebounding advantage coming into the ball game. And for a team like Ohio State, that will be one area, particularly when you think about their league, that they're going to have to improve on because Wisconsin, a terrific rebounding team.
That's Urban Meyer, the head football coach here at Florida. You don't think he'd like this game to be some sort of an indicator as to when these two teams meet for the BCS championship game?
Matt Modick gave him a little message yesterday. He went over to where his seat is and he wrote down on the seat, "We're going to kick your butt in the BCS championship." So I'm sure that was a very interesting little message that he received when he sat down today. Here's the story of this game, in my estimation. This young man on the foul line. Billy Donovan, as you said, Greg, we talked to him yesterday, had no idea whether he was even going to play today. He's played 22 minutes, 9 points, 11 rebounds, almost another double-double for him. Terrific performance.
And a real psychological lift for this Florida team. Daquan Cook.
Again, freshman trying to get it back too quickly with tough shots.
Ivan Harris follows. And it's a 71-49 lead, 7.5 to play.
And if you're Florida, you don't want to start taking it easy. Keep pushing the ball up the floor, get that solid screen with Oden, and then get the ball down inside.
Noah is going to come in at the next whistle. Corey Brewer wide open.
Cook goes for the steal against the experienced player, and it costs him.
17 for Brewer. Harris open.
Ohio State looking much more comfortable with their shooting right now.
Boy, they sure weren't early on. They came out cold.
Harris had that great game against North Carolina from the outside.
Horford with Oden out front and threw it away.
Substitutions for Ohio State, number 23, David Lighty.
While we have a moment tonight on CBS, a night of drama and mystery begins with NCIS, followed by the unit in 48 Hours Mystery. That's all tonight on CBS, America's #1 network.
Now, Greg, you've got Oden with 4 fouls. If I'm Florida, I'm trying to get him to have to play somebody inside to try to get that 5th foul and eliminate any opportunity for a comeback.
And he threw that one away after he recovered it.
Terrific triple down on Oden that time. The young man is learning a lot here today. This is tremendous experience for him. You can talk all about what he's done on the high school level. This is the first time in his career he's faced 2 players of equal athletic ability and size in Noah and, of course, Horford. So it's all about experience. There's a nice rub-off.
We come up on 6 minutes to play. Green looking for a way inside. Unbelievable.
He went underhand with the right-hand shot in what normally would be a left-handed play.
Ivan Harris. Ivan Harris, the senior from Springfield, Ohio, is one of those shooters. It looks like he's never seen a shot that he doesn't like.
Well, he was 5 for 8 3 against North Carolina, as I mentioned. He looks much more comfortable now than he was earlier in this ball game.
Humphrey inside.
He got that off by the short step. Oden is tired right now. Very tired. He's not even over half court now.
And maybe the indicator, Billy, is just how many driving layups and shots Florida's converting.
There's Noah playing Conley and staying off him. Conley can get the jump shot. No, he can't.
Noah with a piece of that one, out of bounds to Florida.
What did I say, rejector? The man is 7 foot with a long reach, can go way up in the air. Conley, as did I, completely misjudged the range of those arms.
5 minutes to play. Back to Horford.
He did one before.
And Corey Brewer swoops in for the offensive rebound and goes right back to the baseline. And had it taken away, it's knocked out of bounds and belongs to Ohio State.
And look at who's on the floor, diving for the ball, Noah. You've got timeouts available if you're Ohio State. Oden would like a little breather right now, but I'm sure Thad Matta does not want to take him out of the game for this stretch at 4:43. Very seldom do coaches call timeout to give rest anymore, but it might be the time for one.
The young man is huffing and puffing.
Yep. And Horford is pushing and shoving. Got that elbow right in his back.
Harris.
He wants the jump shot.
Driving hook, no. This one is saved by Humphrey.
Humphrey knew where Horford was. Otherwise, that was a bad pass to throw in under the other team's basket. But he had a look out of the corner of his eye before he goes for it.
We are under 4 minutes to play. Horford bulls his way in.
Well, he's in the double-double mode. Isn't that something?
11 for Horford to go along with his 11 rebounds. Oden's bounce pass arrived. Brewer lost it. Harris recovers. Jamar Butler. And that'll bring us to a halt with 3:23 to play. The Florida Gators, impressive on their home court today. 80-53 lead. Along with Billy Packer and the rest of our CBS Sports crew, Greg Gumbel in Gainesville. Happy holidays to you and yours. 3:23 to play here in the second half. I don't think we can say enough about the effort that Al Horford has put in today, Billy.
Greg, it was really interesting. As they were walking off the floor for that timeout, Billy Donovan walked right to Horford, and he said, do you want to come out? And the big guy shook his head, and Donovan just walked to the bench. And you know who's on the floor? Horford. He's calling the shots.
26 minutes today, 11 points, 11 rebounds.
And you see that Oden is sitting down. Thad Matta realizing the big man is exhausted and probably too late to make a run.
Lighty hits the free throw, 80-54. And as Billy Donovan watched Horford go through practice yesterday, he saw some tentativeness. He said, it's all well and good when you're practicing, but how are you going to be when you really try to elevate and when you're up against some competition?
And what he was really worried about is trying to protect the other ankle, or maybe even knee, to protect the ankle that was bothering him. And so that has not been a factor today. A real competitor is Horford. Time now, somewhat of a factor.
Under 3 minutes to play. Noah outside for Green, and Green for three.
Well, you can't ask Conley to play any better defense than he did on Green. He shut off the individual penetration, tried to help out, but Noah, with his unselfish play, kicks the ball back out.
Lighty. And Noah up high for the rebound with 2.5 to play.
Well, if you watch this Florida team, you say, how could anybody beat them? Kansas beat them, and that didn't surprise me a little bit with the injuries and sickness. But what did surprise me is Florida State with Al Thornton beating them.
Florida shooting 75% from the floor here in the second half.
Against a team that was holding opponents, obviously not of this caliber, way down below 30.
Corey Brewer.
Probably the first bad thing he's done today, taking a shot that was unnecessary.
Under 2 minutes.
There's the switch. Noah picks up the quick, great ball-handling guard, and Conley stays right with him.
And Conley finds a way through and doesn't get it to fall. Noah ahead for Brewer, and we got a whistle at the other end.
Billy Donovan wanted a timeout, even though he had an advantage. I think he wanted to get Horford out of the ball game. And boy, these fans ought to appreciate this young man.
30-second timeout.
Well, Ohio State's previous low for the season was 72 points. They have 55 on the board with 1:39 to play.
Now, Florida has won, coming in this game, 3 straight games against top 5 opponents. The last one being that terrific win against Villanova. But this will be their 4th straight win against top 5. Not bad.
You know, Billy Donovan said, too, that he had a good time for these injuries to hit his team better early than late.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, I think it helps a good team to have injuries early in the season, particularly if you're going to get the guys back, because then everybody else has to step up, particularly new players, to see what they can do under pressure.
Brewer fouled by Lewis as he went across the lane. And get ready for mass substitutions by Billy Donovan.
And Greg, I'll say that the same is true for Ohio State. They had to play early in the year without Oden. So the guys have to adjust. They have to step up and see what it's like to play without their big guy. And you know there'll be some key game this year that he'll be down for one reason or the other. Certainly not poor play, but maybe in foul trouble. So you find out what guys can do.
Number 1, Wes Swenson. And number 34, Maurice Stokes.
Torian Green with 24 today. Corey Brewer added 18. Lee Humphrey added 12.
It's a big day for the SEC as well. You know, in the last 5 years, it's the only conference in the country that every single member has been to the NCAA tournament. And of course, last year, we remember 2 teams in the Final Four. They won 13 games in the NCAA tournament. Did the SEC for the best performance of any conference in the country.
Conley lays it off for Matt Terwilliger. And the clock moves up on 1 minute to play.
And Ohio State doesn't pick up full court. I thought Moore may have a big day today, but he's been very quiet. Wasn't necessary. But he's been playing so well of late, giving Florida 3 tough perimeter guards.
That ball off of Ron Lewis, and Florida retains possession.
I mentioned Hodge had made 21 of his last 30 three-point shots.
This is Hodge with the basketball.
Some drive. Some drive.
Shot.
Yeah, there's not a big falling off when Hodge goes into the ballgame. And that's saying a lot when you've got 2 guards that have led you to the Final Four.
Long-range shot by Butler is good.
It's a nice indication for Butler coming into today, shooting better than he has.
With the Florida win today, Billy, both these teams now will leave the building at 11-2 on the year.
Well, I think before this season's over, Ohio State and Florida are going to be in the mix for the national championship without question. 2 really good clubs.
86-60, Florida with the victory over Ohio State. A timeout, and we're back to Gainesville after this.